Good afternoon, Hayley. How are you doing today?
I'm good, thank you. Yeah, good, excited. How are you?
I'm good. I just came back from Oktoberfest. Unfortunately, I found out that Renee is not going to be available today. I'll find out later on why she couldn't join us. So it's going to be you and I talking about your story beyond the badge, which I've heard in Manchester at the IT Nation Evolve, and I felt it just everybody has to hear that story. Can you introduce yourself, Hayley?
Yes, so I am Hayley Carter. I am CEO of a managed services provider, Essentia. We are a startup, and while I established the business in July, we technically only really launched in September. So it's brand new and it's really fun.
It's a very, very new company that was
Very,
born out of the, kind of big changes in your life. The way
yeah,
you described it, I just want to make sure that everybody knows what you went through a little bit, okay?
yeah. So, my employment came to an end in the summer, earlier this summer. I felt like I was definitely on a bit of a high. I was in Orlando. I just attended IT Nation Secure. I'd held a session and participated on a panel, recorded some great content with Microsoft. And then unfortunately, I found out that my contract was coming to an end, and it blindsided me a bit.
You were in Orlando at the event.
It
You
was
were
the
on
day
stage representing your company. And after the event was over,
Mhm.
you've learned you
Yeah.
no longer have a contract, or your contract is going to be finished, like
Mhm.
when you're back.
Yeah,
Really.
in the coming weeks, yeah. So it was I don't know, it felt like the end of something, but then also it just felt really unknown. I've only ever really switched careers once, so not anticipating a next step was really daunting, really daunting.
How did you
Um,
feel when you learned about your contract being,
so,
finished?
so I grew up in a family where um, I was the first in my immediate family to go to university. And when I grew up, my mum and my dad both didn't work. They both received government benefits, um, social housing. I never really saw many people growing up that had what I would call a traditional career. Um, and I thought until a really stupid age that everyone in England just got a house for free when you became an adult. It didn't really, I didn't get the concept of life. Um, so as soon as I learned that the difference between my house and my friends' houses was because what their parents or their grandparents or whatnot did for work, it became incredibly important to me to make something of myself. And my career has always been the biggest part of who I am. Even when I met my partner, he is in the IT industry. We met at work, and that was 10 or so years ago. And even when I became a parent, um, my husband is the main parent in our family, and that's because of my focus and how much of me I really put into my career. So to find myself not knowing what comes next in the biggest part of who I am, it was terrifying. It was incredibly daunting, and actually, I absolutely would have spiraled into some kind of, I don't know, mania. But as soon as I put that green open to work flag on LinkedIn, and the messages that I received from predominantly actually partners in the channel, people that I'd worked with on a vendor or partner relationship, who just would not have even understood the gravity of the magnitude of the words that they were saying. I just kind of felt like, okay, I don't know what's going to come next, but I don't really feel alone. And that's something I've never felt before. So terrified, but quite quickly uplifted by the community that, you spoke about, IT Nation Evolve. So it was, okay, I'm going to take this new challenge head on. I'm going to find a job. And
And you started to look for another job?
I did. I started to look for another job, and just wasn't sure if life was telling me to do something different. So I wasn't really sure how to or what to look for. And then when my contract officially terminated, my husband found out his job was at risk, and he lost his job a week after my contract terminated. So we have, as I mentioned earlier, we have a child. We have a 4-year-old. He's 5 now, but he was 4 at the time. Son, we have 2 dogs. I was the main earner, but we don't have a house. We don't really have any assets. We privately rent, which I'm not sure what it's like in Warsaw, but in the UK it's quite extortionate. And that just completely changed everything, because all of a sudden we weren't just facing, oh no, we have to get new jobs. I kind of joke about it a bit, but it was, maybe life is telling me something. And so I just decided, go big or go homeless, and start our own business. We were both in this industry. We both absolutely love IT. And it could take us 6 months to find something that might not even work out. Or in 6 months, if we put the same amount of determination into what became Essentia, where would we be at the end of that? And as I say,
so very quickly you decided, hey, look, I'm not gonna. It's difficult to find something new, and a new position with the company, and then your husband also, I understand, was trying to find something. It wasn't easy or it was impossible to find any interesting any positions at all, correct?
No, so I did have a few conversations with people and an interview here or there while I was waiting for my contract to actually come to an end. But the day that my husband, his position was put at risk, I didn't think it would be so soon, but as I say, 7 days later, his job came to an end. But soon, it was the day that his position was placed at risk. That was the day I registered Essentia as a business. Because it was just knowing that whatever we do next, if we both go into the job market and we both go into employment, it can be taken away from us just as quickly again. And when I go into my career, because it's everything to me, I give everything to my career and my role. He always tells me I care too much. So I didn't want someone else to be able to have that power over our future. And I didn't want it to be able to change so quickly ever again. And yeah, within 3 hours, the business was, I had to find a name first, but the business was registered and became a reality.
How did you find the name? What kind of a steps did you have to go through? What drove the decision? You know,
So
was it the availability of the domain, or was it something else?
you can tell that you've run a few businesses because you know how important that is. Um, I don't know. So originally I was kind of like thinking like redemption or something like phoenixy, but then I also thought like this isn't a redemption song. This is destiny. This is life has put these specific events in front of us in this specific order. So I started obviously AI. I was looking with like ChatGPT and a few other things. I knew I wanted a one-word business name. Just like I think it's catchy. And so I started on ChatGPT and I was giving prompts, you know, try and give me some other words or phrases for a business that's destiny or fate or meant to be or feels just right. And Essentia is a Latin word for the core being of why something is what it is. It's just so deep rooted. It is the foundation of, for me, I felt like for the business, it felt like why we were doing it. And not just why we were doing it, but what we wanted to do with it and why. And it also just fit from a technical perspective because IT is and should be at the core of every business. Your security, your managed services, they are at the core of your business. And so again, as I say, it took 3 hours to get there. But we landed on this name and the domains were available. And yeah, as soon as we knew the domains were available, we decided, we registered everything, purchased everything, and then I just got straight on with branding and never looked back.
You secured the digital identity,
Yes.
and then, well, you've never been the CEO. Your previous jobs were more around operations, if I understand correctly, right? So you're bringing to the new company the operational rigor. Your husband is bringing technical expertise, if I understand correctly.
Yeah, so we both come from a technical background as well. I have come from more development and system development, more project style work, but my husband has been a technical engineer since 2014. So yeah, he's got more of the hands-on technical experience. I'm more from the business, the planning, the scoping and client-facing side of technical business, but predominantly operations. And yeah, I've always been, it sounds cheesy to say, but I've always been the number 2 where I've worked. So this is the first time I'm number 1.
Yes, absolutely. And I really love the way you started to develop your funnel and your business because, again, you turned to community for help.
I did. Actually, before I told anybody about the business, family and friends included, those people that reached out to me when I put myself as open to work on LinkedIn, those partners who really cared about what my next step would be, I spoke to them first and just I wanted to dip my toes in the sand, feel what the reception would be like. And I mean, it far surpassed anything I would have expected. You know, some of these partners I, yes, have worked with for, I don't know, 1 to 2 years. I might have never met them in person or met them once. And the support from that moment to even today has been, it's indescribable. So I reached out to those people first. They kind of gave me the confidence to then reach out to some people in my network who I knew wouldn't be a direct-ish competitor. So MSPs based in Scotland, Wales, in the south of England, or way up Northumberland way, and anybody with an MSP outside of the UK. And I just wanted to start the conversation with them to see, you know, if I do this, what do you do with customers when they tell you that they've got business in the UK? Or do you, I just wanted to know, do they refer work to the UK already? What does that look like? And also kind of try and understand how they were perceiving me reaching out in this format. And again, everyone was just absolutely, let us know when you're up and running, let us know when you're ready for some clients, and we would love to throw some business your way. And
so people offer you actual business, not just advice or recommendations or whatever. They hand that business over to you with recommendations and advice and some kind of a guidance on how to win.
Yeah, so we've had, I mean, I can't even, I've had people send me copies of their master services agreements, of their referral agreements, of here's our sales approaches, you know, and these are people that you should think are competitors, but there's just something really magical about the IT community. And I didn't even know it was a community that existed 2.5 years ago. And it's just this mesh of really genuine, really caring people who want the industry and the people in it to get better. So information, knowledge sharing, business sharing. We've been in talks this week with an MSP about helping them while we're still building our client base, helping them with some project work or helping them free up some operational resource. We've been in conversations with MSPs who are looking to downsize their client base and, you know, how that might look as a partnership. So, yeah, I mean, we have a lot going on, and it's all spearheaded by the community.
Did you know those people when you were at this moment when you had to make a choice to start a new business? Was it all existing connections, or did you build new connections?
So some were more just, I know the name rather than know the person. Some of them were just acquaintances that maybe I'd met in passing somewhere. But the strength of any relationship that I had 6 months ago to now has increased tenfold with every single person I've spoken to, because I understand what it's like to be here. I don't understand what it's like to be here yet, but I understand what it's like to be here. And the amount of people who have not asked if they can help, who have contacted me and said, what can I do? Congratulations, what can I do? And it just means, I don't know, it means so much. And to them, it probably is so little. take the time and I speak to every single person who speaks to me, because if I can give and get anything from those conversations, I want to be able to give it and hopefully help someone else. And if they have something that they want to share, then, you know, by all means. And it's been incredible.
So what was really, you know, interesting for me and inspiring for me as well is that you started to reach out and you have, if I understand it correctly, you have effectively built your network, expanded your network significantly the moment you started to, you made up your mind that you're going to have this new destiny. The Essentia is going to be your new job. You're going to be the number one for your own company. You didn't bet your house, because you're betting more than your house, right? You're betting your life on it.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like once you made a decision that you want something, there is a massive network and a community of people that are willing to, you know, lend you a helping hand.
Yeah, and it really wouldn't have been possible, not just the relationships, but the partners that I knew I wanted to work with. They want to see us succeed just as much as we want to succeed, and have given us the tools to be able to do that. The, you know, the deferred agreements, the platforms, you know, we've been offered certain systems and access to platforms completely free of charge for, you know, 5-6 months to turn this into something. And, you know, these are products that might at RRP be, I don't know, £450 a month minimum. But it's just built on a genuine trust and a real care for someone who wants to see you succeed. I've never had that before. I hope to be able to share my story, my experience about the partners and the people that got me to where I am. And I mean, we are less than 4 weeks in since our official launch. It's barely started, and I could speak for days about how amazing it's been and how much we have ongoing. I can't wait to talk about it in 6 months' time and tell you what we've done. But if I can share my story and my experience, I'd love for someone else to feel the way I'm feeling right now.
How is your confidence changing? Because I think 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago when we've met, you know, in Manchester, you were still a little bit shaky. Is it getting better by week, or how does it work for you?
Yeah. So I think there has definitely been moments of imposter syndrome, like, oh gosh, what am I doing? Is this the right thing? We're going to run out of money. But then the things that we'd put into motion started to take shape. And this week, I mean, we're on Thursday now. This week, we've agreed, I don't know, probably 4 or 5 things that are going to bring a significant amount of money into the business. And so I think that we can pay our rent for the next 6 months, you know. It also means that it's really a business. It's no longer just an idea. You send that first invoice and, you know, that's it. You're officially trading. So
I feel your confidence might have been improving, because if I understand correctly, you're planning to go to IT Nation in Orlando. Are you?
Yes.
It's not an inexpensive trip. I'm sorry.
No, it's not. The best thing I ever did in my professional career was attend. I was fortunate enough to attend IT Nation Connect in Orlando in 2023. It was my first ever industry event. It was actually my first ever networking event. It was my first event in the channel. I had no idea what I was in for. And it was, I'm either going to spend the next 5 days in Florida by myself, talking to myself and learning about products, or I can just do something I've never done before and sit at the bar and have a drink and sit at the bar and eat my meal, and rather than go and sit in a booth or a table by the corner. And it was the best week of my professional life. It was, I mean, I've never experienced anything like it socially and professionally. Within one meal, so I'd arrived late morning. By lunchtime, I'd met some guys from Arrow who really took me under their wing, bless them, and really took care of me. Really great guys. I know my time there wouldn't have been anything like what it was had they not been so lovely. And that just expanded them, because everybody that they knew and that they were networking with, they were lovely and introduced me. And I was really quite an insociable person in those sorts of settings personally. And all of a sudden I just found myself having really intellectual conversations with people about why I was there and what I was hoping to do with myself. And that planted the seed for the confidence that is now blossoming into the CEO. So any opportunity I ever get to attend an IT Nation event specifically, but connect in Orlando, I would sell a kidney to go.
I think your source for the networking is then industry events, LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
Any other ways of broadening your network that you can recommend to people? Because it looks like network is really lifting you up and helping you to achieve what your dreams are, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So far I've only really expanded into like networking events, business to business events, and LinkedIn, but I am currently in the process of working on a video like spotlight series with a few peers in the industry, just around some things that I want to shine a light on. The first being around diversity and equality actually at events. So we talk about those things in the workplace when we're at events, but is there something more that we could be doing as an industry to accommodate for people attending the event itself? So you'll see something polls. I'll be asking for other people's experiences, and then a spotlight video that will come from the end of that. And that's one of the ways I'm hoping to expand my reach. That is more from an individual perspective and something that's close to my heart. I have a number of health conditions, so for me it's quite relevant. But I've also recently registered to be an ambassador for a number of different nonprofits. The ADHD UK, I have ADHD, so that's something that I would love to be more open and expand my reach around. And also I recently registered to be an ambassador for it's called InnovateHer, and it's around STEM programs in schools, innovating science, technology, engineering and whatnot for girls in school, because there's still some kind of, I don't want to call it a stigma, because I don't think that's what it is, maybe a coolness or lack of coolness maybe around going into IT or tech. It's been a long time since I was in school, but if I can go and, you know, make one person realize that they want to be a tech startup, that would be amazing. And I just feel like I'd love to give back if I can. So yeah, so those are things that I'm not really doing them with the intention to expand my network per se, but I am doing them to expand my reach and my impact, because I have a bit more time on my hands and it's my time. So
I think it's amazing. It's amazing that you move from like a situation when you're out of the job and your husband is out of the job and you have no kind of you're hitting the wall almost, you know, financially and professionally. And then, you know, through the reinvention and, you know, kind of a going all in on building a network and reaching out to people and kind of a going for your own thing. You not only have your own company right now, but you are also starting the influencing and sharing and giving to others. This is unbelievable, Hayley, and I keep my fingers crossed for you. If I can help you, you know, with your spotlight videos to help to
yes,
amplify them, or would name you myself and Renee will
yes.
certainly, you know, be happy to help you, either technical advice on how to run podcasts like that,
Mm-hmm.
or later on amplify the stories that you want to share with people. Absolutely, you have my vote.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. As yeah, I just want someone else to feel as inspired as I feel. It feels special.
Hayley, that's a very inspirational story. I'm looking forward to the next several months to hear more about your success in business. I'm looking forward to hear about your videos so I can help them to amplify. And I'm looking forward to see you in Orlando in November because I'm also planning to go there.
Ah, fantastic. That's amazing.
So maybe
Excellent.
we'll do another video, but this time in person when we meet there.
Yeah, I'd love that. I'd love that.
And
That's
Renee
great.
lives around the corner. She's from Florida. She lives very
Ah,
close to Orlando. So maybe we can have a three-way conversation, you know, somewhere
yes.
close to the pool, around the fantastic, you know, Shingle Creek or whatever is the name of a hotel.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm there. Count me in, absolutely. You can
So
network in different continents.
absolutely. Thank you so much for today, and we'll stay in touch then. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate your candor around it and just support. It's amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.